Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the What's New webinars for TopSolid. We're going to just give it a few seconds here as I see more people logging in. If you didn't join us yesterday, my name is Bill Gens. I'm the Sales and Technical Director for TopSolid USA. I'm joined by Joe Hart, our Technical Manager, and Mike Kay, our Sales Manager. All right, let's get going. So, this morning's first webinar, we're going to focus on, again, TopSolid'Design key improvements. We're going to talk about some changes and improvements in visualization within the analysis tools, within the construction tools, and then general tools. So, let's see what there is. All right, so in visualization, we have made it possible now to create, I should say, or redefine the cameras from a frame. You know, depending on how you design parts, if you design them in place or whatever, or even if they're imported parts, sometimes your front views, left views, and so on don't line up with the standard TopSolid cameras. So we made it easy to redefine that. The advantage of it, of course, is if you redefine it, as you can see in my drawings, you get cleaner views. Okay? So let's take a look at this one live in TopSolid, shall we? So, here, visualization, standard cameras. My part is very creative. I have a block. Okay? Right now, if I go through any of the standard cameras, bottom, whatever, you can see that everything is kind of askewed. So, what we're going to do is create a frame. And here I'm just going to do frame on a plane because it's simplest. And I'll align it with that edge there. And then under visualization, we can go to cameras and go to standard camera management. And here I'm going to say that I want to align, let's say, our front camera, right? We want to align our front camera? No, we want to align our top camera probably. So let's choose our top camera and we'll choose this frame. Now, in order for these changes to take effect, you have to hit save once, and then it recalculates the cameras. And now this time, if I go into here, I go to top camera, I go to left camera, right camera, back camera, whatever, you can see everything is now nice and aligned based on that frame. Okay? And of course, this carries over into draft, so if you choose your top view and draft, your front view and draft, it's now aligned based on those. Okay? And you can see the absolute frame is still the absolute frame, so you're not redefining the zero of the part. This is just for camera angles. Perfect. Back to our presentation. All right, we've created a new type of document called a studio document. The new studio document has been added to the advanced tab of the document creation dialog box. This type of document has a ground entity by default and allows you to position a part or an assembly document. You can define an environment, light sources, and cameras in order to calculate an image. The main advantage of this type of document is that you can change the material and coatings of the parts without checking them out of the vault. For this purpose, the parts, materials, and coatings, face coatings, management commands are available in the tools menu. Let's have a look. I go to my studio document, and I'm just going to open up a pre-existing studio. Go. This gives you an idea of the final results, and this is again for people that are going to use realistic rendering inside of TopSolid. Okay, so if I zoom around here, you can see I have my bike sitting on a beach. I have a specific camera angle made, right? I can play with my coatings in here without checking anything out. So for example, maybe I want to make my bike black. Boom, just drag and drop it on. It's done. It does not check the bike out or modify the bike at all. Again, this is only for rendering. Okay? If I want to go look at metal for that, cool. And of course, just to finish this thought off, why don't we go do a quick realistic rendering? And you'll see the final result. Okay. So get a nice powder coating on that metal, and off you go. let's go back to the presentation. Do that. The rendering style and post-processor style commands have also been added to the visualization menu. Again, it's for advanced rendering types. Next, we've added something called a PBR material. Okay, so PBR stands for physical-based rendering. The idea of a PBR material is to allow you to create materials and coatings that are as close to the physical materials as possible. They are defined by their albedo, roughness, metallicity, yes, apparently that's a real word, normal, opacity, transmission glossiness, ambient occlusion, and transmission scattering. Each feature available as a category is defined by a texture document. Let's have a look. So, there we go. So this is again just to give you an idea of the end result. Okay, so if I wanted to apply carbon-based material, okay, I can take this, drag and drop it in, and now notice I have a carbon fiber type of material being defined on here. Okay, or whatever this is, again, it's representative of a specific type of material. So you have your carbon material formats here. You have your coatings here as well. In this PBR method, as I said, you have a lot of control over how everything looks. When you go into any of these sections, you can create kind of a workflow of how the material needs to be displayed, the colors behind it, the transparency behind it, the roughness behind it, everything. Okay? So for those of you, again, that are doing realistic rendering, probably a little bit of update training on the realistic rendering would be required to understand how to use this. All right. Go to rendering camera, I think, is the next topic. All right, so this next one is, honestly, I think this is really cool. It allows you to superimpose a TopSolid 3D design on top of a flat 2D image and create a final rendering to show the result. So, for example, this is our design. This is the flat 2D image. This is setting it up. This creates the final rendering. To show this off, I'm going to go into our e-learning, and we'll hit play here. And I'm going to fast forward through some of this because it's full tutorial on how to do this. But so here you can see the TopSolid object. Okay, here we can see the flat 2D picture that we want to lay the TopSolid object over. Doing some basic measurements. I'm just going to get forward to the meat and potatoes here. Go. And now what's happening is we're basically using a specific tool, it's called camera calibration, to define where our zero reference is on this image and to define the orientation of the x-axis and the y or the z-axis, as well as a scale. Okay, and you can see here it's done just by dragging these objects around to define how everything is. And so this is the x-axis that we're defining right now. You can see that wall isn't so square, but it's not so important. Okay, we're going to define a second one up at the top. Again, it just helps to align things because it's, you know, this photo has perspective, so we have to take into consideration the perspective. Then we're going to align the next axis, and again, I'll fast forward just a little bit here, just doing some time. Then we're going to set where we want the zero to be. So again, we're keeping in mind that this zero is our zero reference in TopSolid. Okay. Then we're setting our scale. So that piece there, that blue piece, is the rise from the floor to the top of that. And then we're going to proceed with the rendering. Oop, here, let me back up again. There we go. So now we're turning on the realistic mode. You can see the top solid object on top of the image, and you can get your final rendering from that. Okay. Let's see. I want to say there we go. There's your final rendering with light sources and everything. Let's keep on going here. All right, now in the analysis side of things, we've made a couple of nice improvements. First things first, when you open a part that is checked in, you can now create measurements. When you're specifying point, for example, axis or plane, you can now also create custom points, axes, or planes on the fly without the document needing to be checked out. Of course, these objects are not saved, but they allow the creation of them so that anybody just doing a quick measurement can measure without, again, affecting the PDM hierarchy. Let's have a look. Right now, as you can see, I'm checked in. If I go to my analysis tab and I go here to measure, again, if I'm on automatic, we won't see the special inputs. So if I want to be on a specific point, for example, I want to be on the midpoint from here to here. Boom. And we're going to say I want to measure to there for whatever reason. Okay. And there's our measurement. Again, notice it did not create or check out the object. It allowed to create a basic point. A basic point is a non-associative point. Same thing as if I go with an axis or a plane, you'll see the special inputs for those objects. Okay. The other improvement made to the analysis is in regards to using this command here, analyze, okay, and manufacturing features. So if I activate manufacturing features, of course, that's going to check it out because visually they weren't turned on yet. But if I go into the analysis and I hover over a manufacturing feature, you get details about that manufacturing feature. Okay? Perfect. Close that. Go back to our presentation. All right, construction. What's new in the world of construction? This one has to do with the cloud of points. Okay? So, first, we introduced the ability to import a cloud of points a few years back. The main reason for it was to allow someone who scans an existing building or something like that to create a new door, fence, whatever, and fit it to, rough specifications of said object. Okay? What's new this year is the ability to modify point clouds after import. So you can remove points that are unnecessary. You can create sections through them. You can create planes through them. There's a bunch of tools available now. So if I go into here, go to construction, and go to my point clouds, again, this is just a big old cloud of points, right? If I zoom up, you can see it's nothing but points. But we can go through here, go into our entities tree here, and you can see under my cloud of points here, I have a bunch of new tools. I can create sections, I can edit, I can search for geometries. So you can delete, you can, oh, look at that. Got some work to do. Add, whatever. All right. Next up. All right, copy and pasting of parameters from one document to another. This is actually kind of handy. Let's just go in here and look at it live. So I have a source file, I have a destination file. I'm going to drag this over to here just so we can more easily see what's going on. So in my source file here, I go to parameters, okay, and I'm going to start with this example of same name parameter. I'm going to take this, right-click, copy. I'll go over to here. And if you notice, we have parameter 1, we have parameter 1. There is a parameter 1 in here already. So if I right-click and paste, it's still going to paste the parameter, but because it recognizes there's a parameter with the same name already, it adds the word copy to the name of the parameter. Okay, so we've always got your back. We're never going to overwrite an existing parameter. Next, if we go into case 1 here, okay, we can copy, shift select, go to here, paste, and again, case 1, because it existed already, because apparently I've shown this to someone else before, so they're all in here already. Sorry about that. You get the idea. You can copy paste from here. The other one that I'll point out, and then we'll move on. Size A equals small. If we go into here, the source is coming from another parameter called A. Okay. So if you were just to copy this, and we go into here and paste it, it's going to paste also go. It's going to paste also the referenced parameter. Okay, so at the end of the day, you should be free to copy and paste parameters from document to document and reuse them. Awesome. And I'm back. All right, and finally, got a few options to talk about within the Tools menu. First of all, we have the ability now in the Tools pull-down menu in the mirror definition command to allow you to define a document as a mirror of another. So this is primarily for documentation. This is primarily for if you're importing parts that are symmetric, you can define them as symmetric parts now. Okay. Next, the enclosing block command. We talked about this yesterday, actually, a little bit. It's been added into the Tools menu within the assembly documents so that you can calculate the overall sizes or area of your assemblies. There is a new command called Tools Joined Part. This command is used to declare parts as glued or welded. You can also now derive entities when deriving, or pardon me, direction entities when deriving a document. And finally, the Publish Block Envelope command has been added to the Tools publishing menu. A couple of other points that are worth mentioning in Tools annotations. Level Reference Management command allows you to define the reference of heights. So this is primarily for the TopSolid steel product, for again structural steels, stairways, things like that. For people playing around with the manufacturing features, a new contouring manufacturing feature has been added, which allows the machining to be prepared at the design level to say this is going to be a contouring, okay, and indicate a frame and possibly a machining process for the orientation of the machining. And finally, we've made a change to our online help. And let me show you that one. I'll go into TopSolid. Oh, let's just go pick a document here. Let's go to circle, right? Now, if I tap F1 on my keyboard, notice it's taken me to a web page. All of the TopSolid online help has been published under help.topsolid.com. Okay, why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, if we have a single location for all of our help, we can more easily update it and make corrections. Two, all of you guys are used to using TopSolid Update, and with every TopSolid update, we have to send updates to the help document as well, and this is getting to be larger and larger. So to save on resources and save on how much data you have to download with service packs, we're migrating over to a live web-based help condition. Now, the thing to note, some of you are not allowed to have online help or true online help on the web, okay? So this is all controllable in Tools Options. So if I get out of here and we go into General, past it. Oh, there it is. Yep. Help. So you can have it local or online today. I am not sure if we're going to be removing local at some point in the future. We may, but if we do, we'll still make it available to those that don't have access to the internet. Okay, so there you go. Your online help can now be truly online. Alrighty, let me go back to my presentation here. Alrighty, I think that's it for this one. Let's look at some of these questions that are out there. Does a mirror document work as defining another part in a different project as a mirror? Okay, I see that there was an answer to that one. Oh, that's an interesting question. Can we move a parameter from one stage to another from machining to design stage, for example? Well, you can copy them, so I don't see why not, but I don't know if you can cut them. So we'll have to test that and let you know. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, the next webinar is scheduled for 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time. It is going to be the last session of updating information on TopSolid'Design. I believe it's mostly focused on drafting, maybe a few other points. So we'll look forward to seeing you all then.